don't you introduce yourself real quick?
I'm Travis Shaw from 101 Proof. I'm here with fucking Mike Garza from Mr. Crinkle. We're gonna have to do an interview and fucking talk about some rad shit coming to our show this fucking Friday. It's the return of Dark Haven.
Where's it at?
M15 Corona. We're gonna be getting our pool. So you guys better fucking come out.
Alright, give me 1 second.
How's it going? Thanks for watching this video. This is going to be a big departure from what I normally do on my channel. I'm calling this a Memoriam video because it's my way of paying tribute and paying respects to a good friend of mine who recently passed away, Travis Shaw. Fucking awesome guy. Fucking hurt, man. This one hurt big time, finding out he passed away recently. And I wanted to make a video like this to kind of flash some pictures and some video cuts of all the cool things that we did together. This isn't a true eulogy video because I couldn't possibly like put into words or video like his whole life, you know. The best I could do is try my best to express what the man meant to me and our relationship, our friendship, and, you know, our musical endeavors we had together. Just real quick, before I get too far into this, I'm going to flash a link here to the GoFundMe that they set up for Travis's family. Obviously, you know, this wasn't planned. They weren't prepared. You know, Travis had his lady, and there was 4 kids they have, and they need some help. And the funeral expenses are very expensive and whatnot. So everyone's chipping in anything you can, or even if you're unable to throw in any money, just throw it, you know, give it a share and tell people, hey, you know, if you can help. Just anything to help. You know, they definitely deserve it. I chipped in already, so, you know, I want to do my part and help share, spread the word. So here it is again, one more time. Go check it out. Go give it a share. Give it a donate if you can. Thank you. This video, and I apologize if it's probably going to be long, but whatever, you know. If you knew Travis, you'll watch it, you'll understand why. I got a lot of stuff to say, you know, like, the guy meant a lot to me, and he meant a lot to a lot of people, too, especially his family. So I just really hope that this little contribution, putting it out into the universe, you know, somehow helps everyone come to terms and find peace about, you know, the losing and passing of Travis. Kind of sucks because, like, not too long ago, I lost a bunch of data. You know, I had some of my drives crash and die, and I wasn't able to recover some of the data, and there was a lot of pictures and videos from stuff we did together and shows and ran into each other's, and I couldn't find any of it because a lot of that stuff is gone, and it bummed me out, you know. I wish I could have included more into this video. So, with that being said, let me just get right into it. How did I meet Travis? I was always running into Travis all over the music scene, like all over, like at the NAMM show, at house shows, bar shows, big shows, like everywhere. We were so interconnected, it wasn't even funny. And we both came from like two different worlds of music. You know, here he was like this cool tatted up metal guy, and I'm just like this normal session bass player that plays all kinds of weird shit and dumb shit and boring music work stuff. But like, I just love music. I love heavy music. Like, I love everything, and we're connected. And yeah, I mean, like, I am connected to the metal scene, you know, by blood. It literally is a Garza family thing. And so I know Travis from that aspect, but just, I would always see him everywhere too, you know. Travis was a music guy. Like, I'm sure that's how most of you know Travis. Like, you met him through music. The guy was into fucking heavy music. He was into fucking metal, you know. He was all over the scene. He had been on the scene since he was like a teenager, as far back, way back, you know. The guy loved music. I recently saw a picture of him as a teenager playing at the Showcase Theater in Corona, which is like legendary, iconic spot for many of us who are on the music scene out here in our teenage years. So that was kind of cool to see. But yeah, the guy's been around a long time, and of course, I've been around the music scene a while, and we've always ran into each other. We ran in 2 different worlds within the music community, like two different, you know, parts of what is the music scene out here, whatever, if you want to call it that. And like he was like the metal guy, and you know, I dabbled with some metal here and there, but I never really considered myself a metal guy. But you know, I love heavy music. I do love metal, so you'll find me there, you know. And eventually, that's just how I ran into Travis. You know, just a guy like that with such a bright, loving personality, super friendly, no ego, cool dude, you're gonna meet a person like that on the scene, and eventually you'll become friends, man. It's just inevitable. And like I said, I'd run into Travis all the time at shows, and it would be in some of the most random places, like random ass weird bar shows, like in the middle of nowhere. He'd be there, either playing with a band or just hanging out supporting. You know, Travis was a huge supporter, a huge nurturer of the metal scene out here. He's a staple of the metal community, you know, out here, and you would see him all the time at shows. It would be house shows, it could be like no-name bands at wherever shit bar, or he would be at all the big shows, like all the Ozfests, all the Mayhems. Like, God, I saw him at so many shows randomly all the time. And if he wasn't playing the show, he was attending the show, and like he was attending the show. I have a really cool memory. I forget exactly who they were playing. They were opening for someone, and it was his band StraitJacket Mafia, which love all those guys in that band. They're all fucking cool, talented guys. I remember I went to the show. I didn't tell anyone I was going. I just kind of went. I think I was meeting like a homie there or something. But I just remember I was kind of chilling, doing my own thing and keeping a low profile. I didn't go say hi to anyone. I was just like chilling in the back, doing my thing, waiting for them to go up. And I was actually talking to a really like cute chick at the bar too. So like that was like I was talking to her, telling her I was like, yeah, I'm here to see my homies play and all that. And she's like, oh yeah, whatever, you know. She probably thought I was just making that up to try to like be cool, but I swear to God, like that's just what I was saying, you know. And they started playing, so I decided to go up a little closer, and then, you know, that chica and my homie went with me. We weren't like right up front, but like right there, kind of off to the side. And Travis was up there fucking killing it, man. Like that guy had just such command of stage, such a command of like frontman presence, and he just like did it with a smile. He got people to beat the shit out of each other to his music, but with a smile and a laugh, you know, like. And I just remember he's doing like his thing, and then he looks over and goes, in the middle of the song, "Fucking shout out to Mike Garza right here," and he like did this like face, and I was just like, dude, he made me feel so cool. And like, even though like he was my friend and I've known him forever, I still like kind of got like a little starstruck, a little shy about it. I was like, damn, he like straight up gave me a shout out. So like I looked cool in front of my homie and like this cute chick that I was talking to, like I looked cool. That's the kind of guy. That's the kind of guy that Travis was, man. Like he would do that.
Proceed to bleed, get up and touch. It's her, you're making us. That was pretty good.
Travis had that band StraitJacket. I want to say that's probably when I really got to know him, was when he started playing, or when I started seeing StraitJacket play more often, because one of my good homies, Job, was one of the guitar players of that band, and that kind of is how I met that world of those guys. And man, all I could say about them is those guys, I wish they would have just got bigger than what they did, because they were such a fucking cool band. Their riffs were sick. Travis's like frontman work was just like pro shit. Like I can't believe that band did not get bigger. But it doesn't matter. Like, they were big to me, and watching them play, watching Travis do his thing, that was big to me. That was some cool fucking shit. That guy could put on a show, and with those guys, it was great chemistry. I remember one time, I was playing at, I want to say it was a winery, or like a lame, like just like a regular like wine bar gig, you know, somewhere, and it's getting late and it's packed, and it's just not, it's not what you would consider a metal crowd. Like, let's just be honest. Like, it's a bunch of cougars and plastic surgery winos, like drinking wine and listening. They want us to play like fucking Journey and shit. But in walks Travis with like a crew, and I'm like, oh shit. And kind of like how he gave me that shout out at the metal show, well, I gave him the shout out at my winery show. I was like, fucking Travis over here. And he was like, oh shit, Garza. And like, of course, you know, like the first break, I go up and say what's up, you know, hang out with him. And I'm like, dude, Travis, you gonna come up and do a song? And he's like, what? He's like, I don't know, like any like of that kind of stuff. I'm like, no, we're gonna play fucking Cowboys from Hell. And he's like, oh shit. And I'm like, yeah, it's going down. So he fucking came up, and in this fucking wino, plastic surgery, cougar, winery set place, we fucking played Cowboys from Hell. And it was awesome. And people actually liked it, man. Like, people like fucking metal, man. People like Pantera, okay? So, like, he killed it, and it was just the fucking coolest thing. And it was like I said, it was kind of like a throwback to when he gave me a shout-out. Well, I brought him a shout-out in my world, you know? And that was cool, you know? I got to play a few shows with StraitJacket in other bands. You know, if you're familiar with my work, you know, like, I mostly work as what's called a session bassist, meaning, like, I always joke, I play for the highest bidder, but that's not really necessarily a metal thing. That's more or less like working, you know, bar band stuff or lounge band stuff, like wedding bands, winery stuff. Like, that's mostly where my bread and butter is in music, but it's not to say I didn't dabble in doing, you know, people hit me up to do metal shows all the time. So I got to play with StraitJacket in a couple other bands that hired me just to fill in for that weekend or whatever, and that was cool. You know, like, that was really cool to get to share a stage in that sense. And I think that's kind of what planted the beginning seeds of Travis and I, like, understanding, like, having a mutual understanding of how the music business works and the way to put on shows, and which would later lead to some cool shit later. But at some point, StraitJacket stopped playing. They stopped doing their thing, or at least I should say backed off, didn't really play as much. And eventually, Travis started doing 101 Proof, which is the Pantera tribute band. And then subsequently, 101 Proof led to doing what's called Unrivaled, which was another original band, but with the 101 Proof guys. 101 Proof being their Pantera tribute band. Now, I had been working with tribute bands for many years before that, so to see him finally get into that scene, it kind of made sense. Just because Travis is such a lover, such a big fan of music and performing and live music. And I never understood why more people weren't open to doing tribute stuff, because, like, tribute stuff really opens a whole new door and outlet to playing badass music live for audiences that are going to go fucking nuts. I know a lot of original guys are against it. Original music guys are against it. That doesn't make any sense to me, man. I mean, the way I see it is, you know, if I have an album, a record or a CD, and I play it, and then I play it again, and I play it over and over and over because I like it. Well, what if I had a band where I could play all that music over and over again because I like it, but also because, like, it's fun to play, and people do like to hear it. I mean, they're going to play it anyways, whether they're at home or not. So why not play it on a big-ass stage for a big-ass crowd and get everybody drunk and happy and make some money doing it? Like, so I never really understood, like, why people weren't more for doing tribute stuff. And so I was pretty stoked to see Travis kind of on board with that, just because any excuse to get that guy on a stage, put him up there, because that guy had so much charisma and so much talent, so much, like, just energy. Like, how could you not have that guy on a stage? And it was cool. It was cool to see him doing that. Eventually, because of the tribute work I was doing, I wanted to do, like, my own tribute band, like something really weird and off the wall that I liked, that, you know, most tribute people weren't doing. And that's when I started doing my Primus tribute band stuff. And it wasn't too long, maybe a couple years doing that and working the tribute scene with that band, when I started talking to Travis about my general dissatisfaction with how promoters book tribute bands. Essentially, they just have the ultimate say-so of who they're going to book and why, and their reasons are stupid. Because honestly, promoters are fucking dumb. Like, they don't know what they're doing. They're just trying to make an easy buck. And once they get an idea in their head that what you're doing isn't good enough, they don't want to work with you. And so Travis and I were talking about how we kept running into that, and it was fucking dumb. Like, they would always tell us, the magic word was, they would tell you, oh, that doesn't sell. What do you mean it doesn't sell? Like, trust me, like, I know people like this music. With Travis, like, people like Pantera. With me, people liked what I was doing. Like, don't tell me it doesn't sell. I know it does. And so, kind of like the old saying goes, if you don't like the way it's done, do it yourself. Well, me and Travis did. We said, fuck it, let's book our own shows and prove all these people wrong. And we did. And we started booking a series of shows together at Primus Pantera Nights that were, like, very successful. Not just successful, like, show-wise, but they were, like, gratifying to, like, do these shows. It's so much fucking fun to play together with these two bands that are, like, so different in genre yet so intertwined. And then it's like we're up there as friends just having so much fun. And, like, you know, like, the crowd that Travis brings, like, they're gonna fucking get down. Like, Travis's people get fucking down, you know. I don't remember. I remember if it may have been the first show we did together or like the second one, but you know, let's be honest, like the 101 Proof / StraitJacket fans are fucking animals. Like, they fuck shit up, and they're awesome. They're like the raddest people ever, but they also fuck shit up. Like, I'm talking like in the pit, you know. So a lot of the places that we first started putting on shows told us, oh, you can't have mosh pits, and we're like, okay, like, well, we could try, but good luck stopping these fucking animals from starting a mosh pit. Sure enough, man, every time they would play, there would be like the most epic, brutal mosh pits ever. It would almost like, it felt like I was actually at a Hatebreed show sometimes, because that's how fucking crazy their pits can get. And I remember it was like the first or second show we did it, like the pit just was like out of control. It was fucking awesome. The set was great. And then at the end of the night, me and Travis were talking like, yeah, it was a good show. We did good. You know, we did good. Some guy comes up and shows us a handful of teeth. And he's like, I lost all these teeth tonight for you guys, and it was worth it. And I'm like, man. And me and Travis was like, dude, that's fucking crazy. Like, I mean, like, I appreciate that, but dude, you don't have to lose your teeth to show like gratitude. Just come to the show, have a good time, and come back to the next one. Show your gratitude that way. But it was cool. Like, that's the kind of people Travis people are drawn to him, you know. And that's not an insult. Like, that's a good thing. Like, I'm trying to tell you is that's fucking awesome. Like, that's the energy we love. That's the energy and enthusiasm. That's exactly what we were going for, is for people to be that fucking happy with what we were doing. Another thing that was cool about playing shows with Travis together, doing our little thing, was he'd always call me up to play like at least one of the Pantera songs, because I know a couple of Pantera songs on bass. And I always felt cool, like, that he'd honor me with like that too. You know, he trusts me enough to come up and participate, and it gives me an excuse to put my hair down and headbang and go crazy. And, you know, with this super like high-end expensive bass, I'm out there like doing all that crazy shit. And like, there's just something there's something to say about being in a band that's playing with a crowd that's beating the shit out of each other. Like, there's an energy that's created there that's just you cannot replicate, you know. So that always felt cool. And then, so on the flip side, one of the things that I always like to do was, in our set, I like to throw in like a random heavy song that has nothing to do with the band that I'm working with, you know? Like, even though we're doing a Primus tribute, I'd be like, hey, Travis, like, we're going to do a Slipknot song. We're going to do this one. Like, can you learn it and come up? He's like, oh, shit. That's like out of my range and shit. I don't know the words, but fuck it, I'll come up and do it. Like, you know, like he knew it wasn't his range, and he didn't know the words, but he still came up anyways. And he still was able to command the audience to sing the parts he didn't know. Like, that's fucking, God, that's such rock star shit, man, that he could do that.
But we're gonna need Travis fucking Shaw from 101 Proof up here. The long lost Phil right here.
Hopefully I don't fuck this shit up. You guys ready? You guys sing it all together, because I don't know all the words, okay? Well, I push my fingers into my eyes. It's the only thing that slowly stops the rain. If the pain goes on, my black blood will take it.
another thing I really liked about Travis was he was like a very inclusive. He was like a really friendly, inclusive kind of guy. Like everybody was welcome, you know, like with a smile, hug, and a shot. You know, like hey, like come on, let's hang out, you know. And so like when we were working together, like with our bookings and stuff, we kind of like to do that. We employed like that same strategy, and like I kind of got that from him. Like he inspired me to think more tactically about uniting, like and inviting to people. And I'll give you an example. And also, this example also shows how he was not an ego-driven person. Like he, surprisingly enough, like for a lead singer with a lot of charisma and a lot of charm, he was not an egotistical guy at all. He was very humble and just loved to include everybody. So what I was trying to get at was, we came up with an idea to kind of like unite some different bands and share the fans, like get more or less get these fans from all these different groups to hang out so they could all like each other and support all the bands, you know. And so one example was we have these really good friends that are called the Cowgirls from Hell, which is an all-female Pantera tribute band. Well, you know, Travis had a Pantera tribute band, so you can't. Well, at the time we were like, well, you can't really book two of the same band, tribute bands, in the same night. So, Travis, what if we booked the Cowgirls to headline, but then you have Unrivaled, you know, the original band you have with the 101 Proof guys, like play to support. So that way the fans from you guys and the fans from the Cowgirls can all kind of meet on the same page and like be like cool and then be fans forever, because we know they're going to get along, you know. And we did that, and it fucking worked. It fucking awesome show, you know. Like we got these two bands that do the same thing, but we were able for one night to get them to do two different things, and it was fucking cool. Eventually, though, we did get ballsy, and we did book more than one Pantera band on one night, because it was Pantera night that night, and yeah, so even that crazy idea worked. But like I said, the idea was not. Most people would never go for something like that because their ego, they want to be the only Pantera band, you know, or somebody wants to be the only star that night. But with Trav and with the way we were thinking, it was like, no, like we're all the stars that night. Let's get everybody together and like make a thing, you know. Let's share fans, share inspiration, and have a good ass fucking show. And of course, it fucking worked, man. And it just grew like the band's popularities on all sides, you know. I always loved that anytime I would come up with an idea, or Trav would come up with an idea, he would be like the first one who's like all about it. Like, oh, it's a great idea. Yeah, let's do it. Like, fuck yeah, I'm down, you know. Let's book it. Let's book it. Let's make it happen. Because he knew that I was good at getting dates and getting venues. And he was good at getting people to fucking come, you know. And like, you'd be surprised, like in the music industry, that's not a very common thing. Like a lot of people in music are very ego driven and very very selfish about why they go about doing what they do, instead of being selfless, you know, which is how Trav was, you know. Travis was like that, and I really related to that, because that's how, you know, when I was in the military, that's how we were, you know. And so, well, I really liked working with him. I really liked booking shows with Travis, because he got it, you know. He understood how it works. Okay, so this next part, it's kind of hard to talk about. This thinking about this stuff really hurts, and I feel guilty, and I feel really sad. But I'm gonna say it because it needs to be said. That's the whole point of me making this video. The last couple of years were pretty tough for me personally, on a personal level, and I ended up stepping away from the music scene for a while. And I mostly just been keeping to myself here at home in the studio and doing my videos and not really interacting with a lot of people. But Travis was one of the few people I still talk to, like on a regular basis, but not as regular as I should have, knowing what I know now, that I was going to lose him. He kept inviting me to come and jam and hang out and drink beers and whatever and play music, but I kept coming up with like excuses not to. And now I feel shitty about it, because I should have. Like, that's fucking dumb. Like, here's a guy I like a lot, that's fucking cool as fuck, and he has great players around, and he's cool, and could have been making some noise, and it wasn't even like, oh, let's do a band. It was just like, let's just fuck around, you know. He even said, I'll come over to you go to your studio, Mike, and we'll jam. We'll set up and jam. And I'm like, oh, you know, kept coming up with excuses to not do it. And so we never did. And I really regret that, like, a lot. He used to hit me up every once in a while, like before all that, to just jam and hang out. And I never really did. I'm just like, I'm not good at that kind of stuff. Like, I really am not good at hanging out and jamming. Like, surprisingly, on my off time, I don't do it. But again, like, this is someone I totally could have, because he's my kind of guy, like the kind of guy you would want to jam and hang out with, you know? And I feel shitty about it. I feel guilty. I know it's stupid to think this way, but maybe if I would have been hanging out there more often, maybe he wouldn't have passed away. I don't know. I know that's stupid to beat yourself up and think that kind of stuff, but I still think it. I know at some point we were gonna work on doing some shows together again. We were just given some time, you know. That was the idea. Is let's take some. I'm taking time away, you know. But the idea was at some point we were gonna, like earlier I was talking about how, you know, at first it was like, well, you can only have one Pantera band in a night, but then we ended up doing 2 Pantera bands in a night. So at some point our grand master plan would have been to do a different Pantera tribute band for each album in the same night, and like have the ultimate Pantera night, you know. And honestly, like, a lot of musicians will talk and dream and come up with ideas. He's the kind of guy where if he and I, we would have made it happen. We would have made that show happen, you know. Not too long ago, I was talking with some people about how, like, yeah, you know, like, when I come back from my music hiatus, I think Travis is gonna be one of the first guys I call up, you know, to do something with, and yeah. Now I feel bad because I should have called sooner. I should have went over and jammed, or I should have had him come over. He was gonna come one day for my birthday and bring a Pantera trip, his 101 proof, to my house to jam, you know, for a birthday present, and I told him not to. I should have did it. But like I said, don't want to beat yourself up. I mean, I'm going through the process, and I'm just thinking out loud, and I know I shouldn't think like that because it just makes me feel worse, but it's a real feeling, it's a real thought. A guy like Travis is very inspiring. Like, he really motivated me and pushed me at a period in music to just go do it. Like, just fuck it, have fun, let's just go do it, you know. All these people told us we couldn't do this wouldn't work, that wouldn't work, and we did it anyways, and we did it our own way, and it fucking worked, you know. I mean, I always say, like, the fact that the places that we would start doing shows at would tell us, okay, no mosh pits, no this and that, and then of course it would go down, there'd be mosh pits, people get fucked up. But the fact that they kept inviting us back and just accepting the fact that there's going to be mosh pits and there's going to be nothing you can do about it, just let us handle it, is a pretty cool, like, way to know that, like, even those places, they still want you back, you're doing something right, you know. And it's, you know, it's cool too, like, you know, despite all that craziness and people beating the shit out of each other, like, if someone fell down, they would help each other up. If somebody, you know, no one ever got out of line. Like, there was never like a stabbing or a shooting or like a bar brawl because of what was going on. People, they took care of themselves. They didn't even need bouncers. Like, Travis's friends and people just took care of it, you know? And it's just like Travis was so chill about it. He'd be so chill. He'd be like, yeah, they're gonna mosh, you know? Like, even Shauna, Travis's girl, like, she would fuck shit up in the pit. Like, dude, I'm telling you, like, Shauna would fuck shit up in the pit. And, like, Travis would be like, yeah, she's gonna do her thing. Yeah, you know, like, my girl's just gonna beat the shit out of people and be fine. She's gonna do her thing. Like, so cool. Like, that attitude, like, that look, his outlook at life is like, is almost like this Zen, stoic, Buddhist metalhead, like, stance on life, you know? And, like, that's the kind of shit those are the lessons that, like, I feel like I really learned from knowing him and getting to know him and working with him. Like, And then his dedication to not only like his music, his craft, but his bandmates. You know, he never let like the normal everyday band obstacles stop the show. Like he really truly believed in the old phrase, the show must go on. You know, whether they had a bandmate in jail or out of state, like they found a way to get him or someone there to fucking fill in to make the show, to have a good show and fucking kill it and do good, you know. And then even in his personal life, like I said, it's not really my place to talk too much about his personal life. I only want to share my experience with him, you know, without, you know, crossing any lines that his family wouldn't want to or whatever. But just seeing his dedication to his girl and the kids, like, you know, like he would be always smiling and posting pictures with them. They're always doing cool shit. Like always all these cool adventures, like despite like putting on a show the night before and fucking killing it and then getting drunk and all that shit. Like the next day it's like smiles, always smiles, you know. I'm, you know, Shauna and the kids, like, I'm so sorry. Like my heart goes out to you guys. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for your loss. Like if there was something I could do to just, you know, I don't know what to say. Like, you know, it's so tragic, but like we all have our own beliefs, you know, of what happens when someone's gone. But I truly believe that Travis lives on with you guys, you know, if not just spiritually, but in the lessons learned. You know, this man was a dedicated person, very, you know, a lot of love, a lot of smiles. He had a lot to give, a lot to offer the world. And he showed you guys what a good man is capable of, what a good person is capable of, you know, the love. And I just, I like to think that that's how he, if anything, like that's how he lives on in all of us, you know, in that dedication, because that's really my takeaway, everything I learned from him, you know. Really don't know what else to say. You know, all death is tragic, you know, it sucks, especially when it's unexpected, but we all know that our time's going to come someday. We all know that our life on this earth is finite. Like there's an expiration date. There's a day coming for us. We don't know when it's going to be. Travis's death to me was very unexpected. I had no idea. I don't know what exactly happened. I haven't asked that. It doesn't matter, you know. Oh, he's gone, and it sucks, and it hurts. It's very tragic. He leaves behind a wonderful family, you know, people, legions of people who love him and care about him, you know. And it's sad, you know. But for some reason, when people die in the music scene, for me, it really hurts, you know. Like, I'm a combat veteran, you know. I was in the Iraq War. I know death. I've seen death. I've seen innocents die. I've seen soldiers die. I've seen bad guys die. And then being home as a veteran, you know, I've seen lots of veterans die, suicides and drug overdoses and all kinds of stuff. Guys taken too soon, and you know, it hurts, like, don't get me wrong, but it just doesn't have the same impact as when I lose someone in music. Because music, to me, has always been a refuge from those problems, those things that I had to deal with in that world. And music is an outlet for my creativity. I can be sad, depressed, angry, happy, joyous, excited, and express it through music. And the people I get to share that with, I feel extra close to and extra intimate. And I feel like, as a warrior, like, I want to protect these people, you know, because they're my sacred place. Yet, like, when they pass, it just hurts that much more for me. And it's like, it makes me stop and think about everything that's going on. Like, what am I really doing? And Travis was like, that phone call was not what I was expecting that day, and especially this year. And as human beings, you know, as a Native American, it's like I try to find, like, I have this, like, need to find, like, understanding and meaning in all of it, and reconcile it spiritually and physically, and this one hurts, and I don't really know what to do yet. I felt like making this video because I wanted to express it. I wanted to get it out. I wanted to put it out to the universe and do something creative with it, make something. And maybe someone watches it, maybe someone doesn't. But I'm sorry, Travis. I miss you, man. I'm very sad. I wish it wasn't like this. I pray for your soul and your family I know you're at peace. And honestly, like, what I believe is when I'm gone, I'm going to where you are, and you'll be fucking waiting there with some fucking jack and a stage, and we're gonna play some music. There's gonna be a mosh pit, and someone's losing teeth. I just know it. Like, I just know. I know I'm gonna see you again. You know, someday in the afterlife. And I think that's what's gonna happen. I think that's seriously gonna go down. That's pretty much all I have to say right now. I know I might sound like very cool and calm and collective in this video, but believe me, like I'm in pain inside. Like, I'm dying. Like, this really hurts, you know. And I feel very bad for Travis, obviously, but his family, for Shauna and the kids, like all his friends, his bandmates. Like, he was loved by a lot of people. And, you know, I hope everybody's able to find their peace and way of understanding and dealing with this in healthy ways as best they can. We're all human, you know. We're going to go through it how we go through it. I just hope everyone... Oh, maybe this video kind of helps too. So, thanks for watching. And once again, please, if you can, go check out the GoFundMe for Travis. Give it a share if you can. Obviously, give it a donate if you can. Anything helps. Thank you, and have a good night. Thank you.